All right, we're at the south end of the Alaska Railroad yard here in Seward. Now these here are your coal lines. Now coal used to come down quite often, come down from Healy Mine up around Denali Park. But the last 3 or 4 years, Argentina and China stopped buying the coal, so they quit shipping, and now only passenger trains come down, and that's not even going to be happening until I think May 30th. I think they're going to try it this year since the vaccine is out. I think it's just going to be a trial to see how things go. I'm just doing a panorama around Seward. I forgot to bring my little tripod. Yeah, that's Resurrection Bay right about in there. We'll go down there in a little bit. Almost fully back around again. And just beyond the tips of those mountain peaks, it's what's called the Harding Ice Field. It's a permanent ice field that really doesn't move except on the edges. It's about 2,300 foot thick of ice, and we're back around. Now there's a glacier on the other side of that mountain called Exit, E-X-I-T, Exit Glacier, and if I got time I want to go to the edge of the glacier, but it's really not prominent in the winter since everything's white. Alright, we're in the coal jump. They push coal cars down in here and it gets dumped. Wait, let me see if I can get over here. Way down into the bottom of that chute, that hopper, and then an auger takes it out that way through a conveyor. Yeah, and it's a little lower quality coal than they have down in the Appalachians or the High Plains, Rockies area. Really small chunks. From what I understand, it's got a little less fossil fuel in it, a little less oil than other coal. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I've camped out in here before. There's electrical jacks. You can charge your phone. Yeah, I really appreciate the mittens. I got 3 pair now, but I brought the ones I thought would be more appropriate. And since there's so much to look at beyond 100 foot, I wear my glasses about half the time I'm here. Let me cross over this chain here. Yeah, look how absolutely beautiful it is. Now there's a waterfall up in here, a trail that goes up to it. I believe it's called Angel Hair Falls or Angel Falls, but that's Mount Marathon right there. And they have a race every 4th of July up from the bottom to the top and back to the bottom. And I believe it's like 42 minutes, the record for men. I can't remember what the record is for women racing up and down. But I don't think they held it last summer because of COVID. Now let's go over here. The coal bin comes up. Oh, it's windy today. I should have brought my rabbit fur hat. See all these shoots. Goes up. This was quite a operation back in the day. Oh, there went a bald eagle. And there's the belt that runs it this way and that way, but they got a lot of the equipment removed, so I can't really show. Well, there's a conveyor left over there. Yeah, I regret not bringing my ice cleats, but here's a belt running north and south. Comes up this belt. It's like a little faster than walking speed. It runs all the way down to the end where they load it on ships. We'll go down there in a minute. But yeah, the Lost Lake area is right up in there a couple of miles. There's a studio apartment up there, $9.30 a month. Just $200 more than what I'm now paying in Tennessee. Get my home base switched. If I'd have brought my tripod, I would have did a time lapse of that cloud on the mountain. There's back over where we were. Yeah, I want to thank Cabela's in Anchorage for these boots. I haven't gotten cold feet yet, but they're quite different from Sorel's. My lips won't move. I think Sorel's are a little more comfortable. These here are Baffin, but that's what I wore up to the Dalton Highway a couple of months ago. And back here in the dump. Yeah, Alaska Railroad is owned by the state of Alaska. From what I know about it, it's the only non-federal railroad. I'm not really sure back prior to the Reagan administration, but Ronald Reagan signed into legislation and handed over the Alaska Railroad to the state. I'm really not sure who had it before that, but now this is where we're about to go, down to the bay. Here in the Seward boat harbor. Look at that turquoise colored water. That's the minerals out of the glaciers. This harbor is ice-free year-round. And Kenai Fjord Park is just right over in here, about 20 miles out. Man, that wind. That's that cold air moving in, or colder air. There's Mount Marathon. Well, actually, okay, yeah, there's Mount Marathon. That's where they do that race, 4th of July. Yeah, look at that sun going through that turquoise water. It's pretty far out here to the end. Most of these boats are here for the winter. That is really nice. I wouldn't mind having something like that. Just live out in the middle of the Atlantic or Pacific. Now, to the right here, I gotta get in the right spot. Is where they offload that coal onto the ships. Oops, get my finger out of the way. That building right there. That's right about where they used to offload that coal. And down at the harbor master's office again. You go in there and get marine and meteorological reports 24/7. It's at 162.45 megahertz, the NOAA weather radio frequency. Yeah, here's the apartments you see right there. That's the ones I'm on my way to apply it. Everything's really centrally located. Seward is just kind of built on a landslide. It all at sea level pretty much. We're about 10 foot above sea level, and there's the hardware store. You buy clothes, furniture, everything in there. But it's almost just cheaper to buy on Amazon and get the free shipping. This is kind of the touristy part of town, but the COVID really, really hurting everybody. You rent kayaks, Kenai Fjords tours, boat tours, fishing charters. Yeah, here in the harbor master's office, it's like, it used to be $7 a shower. You can come in and go right over there and take a shower. I think it's like $7 for 4-minute shower. But that sun on the mountain, man, that's beautiful. Yeah, the Harding ice field is just on the other side. It really doesn't go down in elevation too much on the other side, back down. It just goes straight across. Whoop. Yeah, the Harding ice field is like 2,000 foot thick on the other side of that mountain right there. Yeah, I wanna thank one of my subscribers, Paul. He gave me a ride down from Palmer last night, and just before that, I had posted on Craigslist asking if anybody was heading down to Seward, and someone replied and said that they was going to pick me up at 1 p.m. yesterday. Then it got about 11 o'clock, and they said, well, it looks like it's going to be more like 2 o'clock. Then 1 o'clock came and said, well, it looks like it's going to be more like 3. There's a bad wreck in Anchorage. And I checked the road reports and didn't see any. So then it became, we were going to try it again the next day. And I'm like, nah, I got to get down there before that. 'Cause what if tomorrow it would have been, well, late again, so I just can't depend on that. I'm really hoping to get in an apartment here, and there they are. Those apartments right there. But yeah, I want to thank Paul for giving me a ride down yesterday. Like 180 miles, 170. Whew. Yeah, the Gulf of Alaska is on the other side of these mountains here. And the state prison, Alaska State Prison, is right over in this area. Go down Nash Road, Nash. It goes out to the prison. And it's still operating. I had heard a couple of years ago that they closed it, but Paul said, no, it's open. So they built it way out there in case anybody escaped. They ain't going far where they freeze you to death. I guess that's where that prison was in that Runaway Train movie with John Boyd, where him and that kid escaped prison and hopped that freight train. Yeah, it's called Runaway Train, I believe. But anyway, oh, it was these apartments. I think I zoomed in on the wrong one. I used to live here in 05. I was here a few weeks, and I just up and left. But that was probably my biggest mistake, leaving this home base. Everything I needed is here. And the best, absolutely best doctor I've ever had up in Anchorage. And there's a little shuttle bus that goes up 3 times a week to Anchorage for $60. And usually I go to an appointment once every 3 months if I'm doing all right. If my CD4 count's doing good and viral load and all that. But a little further down south, this is pointing south, there's kind of a downtown area, a lot of shops and restaurants and bars. Just out here there's residential living, and the Alaska Sea Life Center is down there at the end. I think it opens at noon today. Alright, here's a better vantage point where they offload that coal. It goes up that conveyor onto the container ship, not container, the big overseas vessels. Goes all the way from that chute that I showed you a while ago. Yeah, just being here, this is my absolute favorite place on earth. It's like you're a different person. You feel so much peace. You truly feel like you belong here. It's like a little tiny piece of heaven on earth. And to think that there's everything you could possibly need here. And it's not too big, too populated. Except in the summer when the tourists come. But that last summer there wasn't hardly anybody up here, and there sure isn't now. Yeah, let's see how far I can zoom up. That is Resurrection Bay. It's ice free. I think I said that 20 times now. Alright, I'm going to do a Hyperlapse Mount Marathon right here. See the cloud? I'm going to set this to Hyperlapse and see how it comes out. I think it goes quiet during that. Well, that was a Hyperlapse. I don't know how corny it looked. But I found a frozen jellyfish. It's still kind of jelly too. Poor thing. Make jelly ice cream, marmalade. Getting down to sea level now. Well, sea level right now. Oh, that wind is like 30 sustained. I hope this audio isn't all messed up. That blustery. Tide going out. Be cold in there. Salt water. Can't wait till July. Salmon fishing and halibut. Yeah, Kenai Fjords is about 10 miles out, and that whole huge area on the map, on the peninsula part. Yeah, both mountain ranges go out, and they get wider as it goes out to the south till it gets into open ocean. But there's a lot of fjords out there. Fjords, I think is how it's spelled. It's just a really thin, deep waterway they call fjords. Yeah, they run all the way to the top and back down. I think it's 4,200 foot. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. And there's where that Angel Falls is, or something. I can't quite remember the name. I've never been up there yet. There's where Exit Glacier is, between those two, in that valley in the middle. And up a little further to the left. About 11, 12 miles from here to the base of the glacier. Whew, man, I had to get out of that wind. That cold air is finally here. Oh, it was like 40 miles an hour now out in the open, unprotected. Yeah, every time it gets unseasonably cold in Alaska, the lower 48 gets that cold, high-pressure air dome like 4 or 5 days later. And depending on how far east of the Rockies in Canada, they name it different. They name the air mass, like if it's right off the Rockies in Alberta, they call it a Alberta Clipper. Then if it's a little bit further east, they call it a Saskatchewan Screamer. And a little further east, that high pressure cold dome, they call it a Manitoba Mauler. So if you're ever listening to the weather and hear them talk about Saskatchewan Screamer or Alberta Clipper, Alberta, you'll know that air is going to be really cold coming off the Canadian Rockies. And that's the ones that enter like through Montana and shoot down. So if I can get this video up today, you guys down there will be seeing this unseasonably cold weather in about 5-6 days maybe. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get a cheap motel tonight. It's really gonna turn off. And then when I get a little more situated, I'll find a really good protected campsite and do a outdoor camp video. Back at the harbor. Just kind of getting wind protected in this little shed here. Kind of warmed back up in the sun. Man, there ain't hardly any wind over here. Yeah, all these little businesses are really suffering. They didn't have any business last summer, and these people survive off what they make in here from tourists. Been hit really hard in Alaska that depend on tourists. Well, I'm gonna go find somewhere to upload this video. Hope everyone had a good Easter.